Chancellor, may I, as public orator, Professor Graham Shipley, present Sir Will Adderley, a candidate for an honorary degree. The name of Dunelm will be familiar to anyone who has looked for furnishings for their home. One of those most responsible for its high profile is here with us today. Sir William Will Adderley was born in Birmingham and relocated to Leicestershire as a boy, when his parents, Bill and Jean, set up a small business selling curtains in Leicester Market. Within 5 years, they had opened their first furnishings shop under the name Dunelm Mill. After leaving university, Will took over the management of the now expanding company. Over the next 2 decades, he oversaw its floating on the stock exchange and its growth into a name familiar from its green and white livery in more than 150 retail parks across Britain. Its market value is over £2 billion and its staff base over 10,000. Despite its status as one of the FTSE 250 companies, the Adderley family are still the largest shareholder. Will, now living in our neighbouring county of Rutland, remains deputy chairman of Dunelm, and the firm's overall headquarters are still a few miles outside Leicester at Syston. The spectacular success of the family business deserves our admiration in its own right. But the outstanding reason why we have invited Will and his wife Nadine here today is to celebrate the generous and unselfish uses which they have made of their family's wealth. First in 2007, Nadine and Will founded the Leicester Foundation, now known as the Stoneygate Trust. This has funded over 500 scientific initiatives and over 20 fellowships in medical research, as well as supporting more than 200 students in universities across the UK. With LOROS, Leicester's renowned hospice charity, Stoneygate has enabled the creation of a centre for excellence to research and improve practice in end-of-life care. With the Lilly Foundation, Britain's leading mitochondrial disease charity, Stoneygate has funded extensive research into effective diagnoses, treatments and cures for these rare but complex and life-limiting diseases. And for us at the University of Leicester, the Trust has provided long-term support for kidney research and has enabled the creation of the Stoneygate Centre for Empathic Healthcare to teach medical students and healthcare professionals the importance of empathy in all aspects of their medical training. If you ask Will, why empathy, he will say that empathy is not simply a trait you may be born with, but a skill you can be taught. And he emphasises its increasingly recognised role within medical care. As our Vice-Chancellor has said, the new centre is developing and delivering empathy-focused training for undergraduate and postgraduate healthcare students and professionals in Leicester, with the aim of making this available nationally. The centre will also undertake pioneering research into the impact of empathic care on both patients and practitioners, and campaign for empathy to be placed at the heart of the healthcare system. In this morning's degree congregation, we are celebrating the success of graduates in the life sciences and healthcare. Some of those in De Montfort Hall today are among the first-year group to have benefited from Stonygate's philanthropy, which enabled the creation of the Medicine Foundation Year. This scheme identifies potential medical students whose background makes it less likely that they will be able to meet the entry requirements for our standard 5-year MBCHB. Talented individuals who may not be likely to meet the 3 A's requirement at A-level have been recruited into an MBCHB, opening up hitherto undreamt of opportunities for non-standard applicants to fulfill their ambition to become doctors. The Medicine Foundation Year has proved that it is possible to reach beyond the places from which medical schools normally attract applicants, and so open up careers in medicine to people from a wider range of the community. It is charitable ventures like these that motivated the award of a Knighthood to Will in 2021. To put this in context, only around 60 awards of the rank of Dame or Knight are made to individuals in the UK every year, and only a handful of those are for charitable work. That is a measure of how rare and how important Will Adderley's contributions have been. As the published citation for his knighthood stated, quote, William Adderley has made a significant, sustained contribution to social mobility. He stands out from other philanthropists, not only because of the scale of his generosity, but because of the way he deploys his expertise to ensure that his giving has the maximum impact, end of quote. Today we have our opportunity to thank and honour him for all he has done for the university and for our wider society. Chancellor, on the recommendation of the Council and the Senate, I present Sir Will Adderley, that you may confer upon him the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws.
Thank you. Sat up here, it took me about 3 or 4 minutes to realise the hardest part of what I'm going to say was the introductions. So please bear with me, and this is my best effort. So, Chancellor, I need my glasses as well, President and Vice Chancellor, Lord Lieutenant of Leicestershire, Lord Lieutenant of Rutland, High Sheriff, other distinguished guests. Sorry, that's very general, but I wouldn't know where to start, so thank you. This is easy bit for me. Graduates, or it feels like there's qualifications much beyond that have been presented, so all of you that have received or will receive some form of degree, and of course your families and supporters. So welcome and thank you for coming. So first of all, thank you very, very much. To receive this is a huge, it was a surprise, but it's a huge honour and something that I'm very, very proud of. I see it as something that I'm receiving on behalf of lots of the people that I've worked with to do things, and we're all absolutely delighted. So thank you very, very much. Leicester has been a place that's been very kind to me. It's been a lucky place for me. It's allowed me to fulfill a lot of my dreams. It's allowed me to fulfill a lot of my ambitions. As you've heard, I wasn't born here. I arrived here when I was 5 or 6. My wife was born here. Our 3 children were born here at Leicester General. We were married here. Our 3 children were educated here. And you've just heard, I must apologise, we've relatively recently left, but we've only gone to our neighbouring county of Rutland. Our business is based here, so our family business started here. It's still based here, and it's the centre of gravity. It's where we employ our most people. And it's our home. It always will be. I really hope Leicester has been the time you've been here, or your Leicester University degree, or the time you will be here if you're going to live here or occasionally come back here or still have friendships here. But I hope it's been kind to you as well. I think Leicester is a special place. It's different. It's really different to most places, and I think all places that I know of. And I think it's a really amazing place to start from. And I think that's really key for where you are in your life now. Now, as you can see, I'm no spring chicken. I'm 51 now. And you don't think about this sort of thing when you start reaching that sort of age, but when you put a few words down to say something, you do start thinking about it. And the maths aren't too hard, but you realise you graduated 30 years ago. So I was sat where you were 30 years ago. I met my wife 29 years ago. And these are the sort of things you can do if you're 51 years old. But the other thing you start doing is you start thinking you can give advice. And then that happens. And it happens when you reach a certain age. You think you become wise and you think you'd like to say a few words. And that doesn't sound very good, so I'm going to try and phrase it a bit differently. I'm going to talk about, very quickly, 4 or 5 things that when I was sat where you are, I wish there'd been things that I'd really ingrained in my head. So the first one, and all these obviously apply to everybody, even if you don't think I've caught your eye or you're not appropriate, please, they really do. All of you, and everybody who's been through these halls, be it through these winter sessions or the ones in the summer, you're the future. It doesn't matter what you've studied. It doesn't matter where home is. It doesn't matter where you're going next. You are the future. And if you are the future, that means you have a responsibility. Now, you might not realise that, you probably don't, but it's the sort of thing that dawns on you. And one day, it will mean a lot. And your next generation, you'll be trying to drill into them about responsibility. But you bearing that responsibility is really, really important, please. The next thing is opportunity. There is tons of opportunity out there. And for what it's worth, I think there's tons more than any of you see. There is so much opportunity that the world needs people like you to get out there and smash that opportunity. Take it. The third one is you can't do anything yourself. You need relationships. Without other people in your life, be it personal relationships, working relationships, friendships, whatever, you don't go anywhere. So relationships are absolutely fundamental to you and the rest of your life and your success and your happiness. This is the start. That doesn't mean everything else you've achieved or done was just pretending. But you're coming of age. Some of you will go on from here and do your first job, let's call it. Some of you have already done that, been doing this perhaps part-time, or you've come back to university, whatever you. But it's starting. Your time is starting. The quicker you get moving, the better. The better for you, and the better for the rest of us, the best for the world. And my last point is around change. I don't think any of us appreciate change until you start being reflective. And really being reflective, you've got to be older than most of you are. And I've written down 3 things that I think are quite amazing illustrations of change since I left university. So, 30 years ago. When I left university, I didn't have a phone. That wasn't because I was odd. No one had a phone. I didn't get a phone until I was 23, 2 years later. And that cost a small fortune. It was just one step off a big brick, and it certainly didn't have music or anything else on it. Now, we've all got a phone on us. Hopefully it's on quiet or off, but we all have one on us. That is incredible to go from nowhere to that in 30 years. The year I left university, there was this strange machine. I'm talking like I'm really old now, calling it a machine. There was a terminal in our library. And that was the university's internet connection. One machine, one connection. It was ever so slow. It didn't have anything of any particular interest on it unless you were as intelligent as you guys. And look at it now. 30 years like that. And one of illustration then of that very simple illustration, I believe, of what that internet's then done in 30 years. Amazon didn't sell its first book for a further 2 years. It wasn't online for a further 2 years. You have so much change. That's the opportunity in front of you to use your energy, use your brain, use your knowledge to really get out there and make so much changes in your lives and for people's lives. So please, don't be passengers. That's your call, but don't be a passenger. If you stay determined, you work hard, and you have a bit of luck, you will achieve what you want to achieve, in my view. But you can only do it if you don't muck about. And that's over to you. So I think you've got a wonderful foundation here. Some of your qualifications sound absolutely amazing. But there will be a few of you here that will go on to make fundamental changes, without overstating it, to the world. And that's really, really, really awesome. And the awesome thing is, you were the people who do it, that person, or if there's 8 of you, 15 of you, 3 of you, whatever, it's you. So thank you again. Thank you very, very much. And congratulations to everybody who's receiving a degree today. It's a pleasure to be here.